Hello all, welcome to Paritranaya. In this class, we shall discuss about another very important economics related topic, that is budget. So every year we hear about the proposing of budget and all the Indian citizens are curious about this budget. So in this class, we shall understand about what is this budget about. So this budget, it speaks about the revenue and expenditure of the government. So when I say budget, it speaks about the revenue and expenditure. Revenue and expenditure of the government. So now in order to understand this revenue and expenditure, we also need to understand about another concept called as financial year. Okay, financial year. So here revenue indicates incoming money and expenditure indicates outgoing money. So government, whatever the money it receives, it is called as revenue, and whatever the amount the government spends, it comes under expenditure. It comes under expenditure. So here we shall see that this expenditure and revenue, it corresponds to which period? Okay, that period we call it as financial year. Okay, that period we call it as financial year. Now let us assume, okay, or every year budget is proposed on February 1. Okay, February 1. So here I have taken February 1, 2023 as an example. So when I propose the budget on February 1, 2023, so I'll be proposing for which financial year? Whether I'll be proposing for 2022-23 or 23-24. So this is the first thing that we need to understand, because initially aspirants are confused about these things. So here when I am proposing the budget on February 1, 2023, I am proposing the budget for this period, that is April 1, 2023 to March 31, 2024. So I am not proposing the budget for this financial year. So already budget for this financial year has been proposed in the previous year, but now on February 1, 2023 when I propose the budget, then that will be for the upcoming financial year. So unlike our other years like January 1 to December 31, our financial year, it begins from April 1 and it ends on March 31. So if it begins on April 1, 2023, it will end on March 31, 2024. Okay. So this financial year, we can either represent it in this fashion, financial year 2023-24, or we may simply represent it like financial year 24. So both the representations, they indicate the same period, that is April 1, 2023 to March 31, 2024. So similarly, this indicates a financial year of 22-23. It can also be represented in this fashion. Okay, this fashion. So it means now if I make it as financial year 25, so what does it indicate? It indicates from April 1, 2024 to March 31, 2025. So this is a financial year. This is a financial year. So when budget is proposed, so it indicates about the revenue and the expenditure that takes place in this financial year. Okay, that takes place in that financial year, in the upcoming financial year. It does not speak about the current financial year, but it has the details about the upcoming financial year. So when it is speaking about the upcoming financial year, it does not have exact idea. So that's why it will just make an estimate. It will make an estimate about the receipts and about the expenditure. Okay, and that making the estimates of receipts and expenditure, that process we call it as budget. That process we call it as budget. Now the next question arises. Who prepares the budget? Who prepares the budget? And he presents it to whom? Why it has to be presented? Okay. Now we'll understand that. So budget is prepared by budget division. It is prepared by budget division. So where it is located? Department of Economic Affairs. So where is this Department of Economic Affairs located? Ministry of Finance. So while discussing about polity, we have seen that in order to run the country smoothly, we require various ministries. So we have close to 50 different ministries. Okay. So here one example is Ministry of Finance. Similarly, we have Home Minister, Defense Minister, Agriculture Minister, and so on. So here the responsibility of preparing budget, it lies on Finance Ministry, and within Finance Ministry we have one more wing called as Department of Economic Affairs, and within Economic Affairs we have one more group of people, a small division called as Budget Division. So the responsibility of the Budget Division is to do these estimates, that how much revenue we will receive in the forthcoming year, or how much expenditure probably we may do in the forthcoming year. Okay, so these documents are prepared by the budget division under the guidance of whom? Finance Minister as well as the government. And finally, finance minister he presents this budget document to Parliament. He presents this budget document to Parliament. So what we understood, budget is prepared by budget division. So budget division is present in what? Department of Economic Affairs. Department of Economic Affairs is present in Ministry of Finance. And once it is ready, Ministry of Finance Minister will present this budget to Parliament. Okay, it means he will keep the documents open in front of the Parliament. Now the next question arises, why will Finance Minister present the budget in front of the Parliament? Okay, so we need to understand these things as well. Okay. Now this is our system, democratic system. So in democratic system, by the people, for the people, and what? To the people. Means people have to rule themselves. It means any major decision has to be taken by the people of this country. Okay, people of this country. But if you look at the people of this country, it is close to what? 140 crores. Okay, 140 crores. So whenever you are making any kind of decision, then all this 140 crore people, they cannot sit at one single place and take the decision. That is why we have people's representative. So on behalf of the people, there are some other people who will take the decisions. So who are they? The people who are sitting in Parliament. So we know that Lok Sabha MPs and Raj Sabha MPs, so they will take decision on behalf of the people of this country because they are the representatives of people. Now we have already seen while discussing about the polity, and so now we will not go into the detailed aspects, but at a superficial level we shall just recollect that the members of Lok Sabha, they are directly elected, whereas the members of Rajya Sabha, they are indirectly elected. Okay, indirectly elected. Here directly elected means people directly participate in the elections of the Lok Sabha MPs, whereas in case of indirect election, people do not directly participate. So people already, they have elected MLAs, so MLAs will elect what? Raj Sabha MPs. So that's why Raj Sabha MPs are not directly elected by people, but indirectly elected by what? People. Indirectly elected by people. Now these representatives, here in Lok Sabha we have 545, Raj Sabha we have 245. So here when it comes to budget, Raj Sabha does not have a major role to play. So we already, while discussing about the polity, we have seen what limitations when it comes to Rajya Sabha as far as budget is considered. So for time being, I'll just ignore this Rajya Sabha. For time being, I'll ignore this Rajya Sabha and I'll take into account only Lok Sabha. Now Lok Sabha has 545 people, representatives of people, that is 140 crore people. Okay, so we have in Lok Sabha 545 MPs who are representatives of 140 crore people. Now again, on day-to-day basis, all these 545 MPs, they cannot meet and they cannot take decisions effectively. That is why in order for the decision to happen on a day-to-day fashion in a smoother manner, so what? They have elected again a small group of people. So these people, they have nominated a small group of people whom we call it as ministers. Okay, ministers, or in general, we call it as government. Government. So when I say government here, who will come into picture? One is Council of Ministers. Next, one is Prime Minister. Apart from Prime Minister, we have group of ministers. Okay, I'll call Council of Ministers. So approximately around 50 to 60 ministers are there. So to make our discussions easier, I'll consider 49. So 49 plus 1, totally there are 50 ministers, including Prime Minister. So these 50 ministers, they are the core part of the government. Okay, they are the core part of the government. So now we understood people's representatives, 140 crore people. So their representatives are 545 Lok Sabha MPs, and on behalf of them, 60 people are working. So when they are working, they are accountable to Lok Sabha. They are accountable to 545 people. It means government should work as per the expectations of the people of India. Okay, but the people's expectations are represented through our representatives. It means indirectly government should work as per the expectations of the Lok Sabha. If the government, that is these 50 ministers, if they do not work as per the expectation of the Lok Sabha, then Lok Sabha can remove these 50 ministers and they can bring new ministers who will perform who will work according to the expectations of Lok Sabha or Lok Sabha MPs. Okay, Lok Sabha MPs. So again, these things we have discussed in detail in polity. If at all you are getting confused about the executive and these relationships, then you can revisit those videos and try to comprehend the topic and come back to the topic of budget. Okay. Now at a superficial level we understood. Now the next question comes, who will propose the budget? So finance minister. So finance minister, so among these 49 ministers, one minister is finance minister. So he will present the budget. He will present the budget to Lok Sabha. So while discussing about polity, we have seen that whenever any kind of reports are presented to Parliament or Lok Sabha, they are presented by President. But here always President cannot come for all kind of activities. That is why that responsibility has been given to Finance Minister. That is presentation of budget. This responsibility has been given to Finance Minister. So whenever UPSC asks a question, who presents the budget in the Parliament? So we should have a crystal clear idea that it is Finance Minister. Okay, it is Finance Minister. Now next comes, why does Finance Minister present budget in the budget to the Lok Sabha? Because whatever the money the government is collecting, it is collecting from the people of this country in the form of taxes or non-taxes or in other forms. It means whatever the taxes they are collecting, whatever the amount exists with the government, it belongs to all the people of this country. So when it belongs to all the people of this country, so that amount has to be properly collected and it has to be properly spent. Okay, it has to be properly spent. To ensure that the amount is being properly collected and it is being properly spent, so before spending or before collecting, so the government has to take the permission of 140 crore people, but they cannot take the permission of 140 crore people. So rather they will take the permission of just representatives of peoples, that is Lok Sabha MPs. So in order to take the permission from the Lok Sabha MPs, so they will present the budget in front of Lok Sabha MPs. So after presenting the budget, if the Lok Sabha MPs, 545 members, if they are happy and if they say yes, then government will go ahead with its proposals and it will start collecting taxes and it will start spending. So if Lok Sabha is not happy, then what happens? That is beyond the scope of our discussion now. We shall discuss about those things when we start discussing about polity. But here we shall understand that budget is proposed by Finance Minister, and once the Lok Sabha gives its consent, so once the Lok Sabha says yes, then government can collect the taxes and also spend accordingly So here what we understood what is budget. So budget includes receipts and expenditure. So who will present it? Finance Minister will present it. So Finance Minister will present to whom? Lok Sabha. So why he will present? Because government is responsible to Lok Sabha and Lok Sabha has representatives of people's representatives. So that is why they are accountable to the people of this country, and that's why before collecting the taxes and before spending, they have to take the permission of the Lok Sabha. So this is all what we saw. Okay, what we saw. Now, when it comes to budget, the next question is whether our constitution has any word called as budget. Okay, so very important. Our constitution, it does not have any word called as budget. Okay, any word called as budget. So in our constitution, we have a statement called as annual financial statement. Okay. So this annual financial statement, it is mentioned in Article 112 of the Constitution. So again, equally important from examination point of view as well. So in the examination, they may ask you a question like whether annual financial statement is mentioned in the Constitution. Yes, it is mentioned in the Constitution. So where it is mentioned? In Article 112. Okay, 112. So here we can use the statements annual financial statement and budget interchangeably. Okay, so budget, if we say budget or if we say annual financial statement, both of them are same. The only difference is that the term budget is not mentioned in the Constitution, whereas the annual financial statement is mentioned in the Constitution. Okay, so at the superficial level, we understood that annual financial statement, it consists of details about the receipts and also about the expenditure. Okay, expenditure. So the details about the receipts and expenditure is mentioned in annual financial statement. Again, the forthcoming classes we will be discussing in detail about the annual financial statement, but here at the superficial level we understood what is annual financial statement. But now let us focus whether when we say proposal of budget, whether it is the only annual financial statement that is being presented to Lok Sabha, or are there any other documents presented along with it. Okay. So apart from annual financial statement, there are other documents which are presented by the Finance Minister to the Lok Sabha. So these documents are also equally important. So here we'll see the list of such documents, and in the forthcoming discussions we will be discussing in detail about all these topics. Okay. So apart from annual financial statement, the list of other documents which are presented by the finance minister are, the first one is demands for grants. So what is this demand for grant? Again, we will be discussing in detail in the forthcoming classes. But here we shall understand that whether demands for grants, whether it is mentioned in the constitution, yes, it is mentioned in the constitution under article 113. Similarly, we will be discussing in detail later on about the finance bill, and the provisions related to finance bill, they exist in constitution under article number 110A. Okay, 110A. Next, two important what statements are presented along with the budget, that is along with annual financial statement. They are macroeconomic framework statement and medium term fiscal policy strategy statement. Now, whether these two statements are present in constitution? No, these two statements are not present in the constitution. Then where are they present? They are present in an act called as Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. Okay, Budget Management Act. So even these two statements are also presented as part of the budget. So these are called as fiscal policy statements. Okay, fiscal policy statements. So why are they presented? Because there is an act called as Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act, which says that while presenting the budget along with the annual financial statements and other documents, these documents should also be presented. So as it has been mandated by FRBM, so these are presented along with budget. Okay, so in the forthcoming classes we will be discussing in detail about what exactly is the macroeconomic framework statement. So what are the constituents of medium term fiscal policy strategy statement and all. But here at the superficial level we shall understand that these are not present in the constitution and they are mandated by FRBM. Okay, FRBM. Similarly, along with the budget, as part of the budget, information relating to what expenditure budget is presented. So what is that expenditure budget? Again we will be seeing later on. Similarly, receipt budget. So we have one more component called as one more statement which is presented, that is expenditure profile. So about that also we will be discussing later on. Similarly, there is a memoranda explaining the provisions in the finance bill. So as we saw the finance bill 110A, so there are certain provisions in it, so it will be difficult for us to understand those provisions. So to make that understanding easier, some extra information is presented which is called as memoranda explaining the provisions. So this is not important from exam point of view. So next we have one more component or one more report or data which is released, that is outcome monitoring framework. So this is also very important. So we shall discuss in detail about this framework also later on. Next, apart from that, key features of the budget are presented. Okay, key features, not in detail but key features. Key features means now in a budget, what are the various expenditures that we will be doing, on which sector we will be focusing more, whether we will be focusing more on agriculture sector or defense sector. So at a superficial level, whatever the information will be presented, so that is called as key features of the budget. So this is also presented along with the budget. Okay, along with the budget. So this is for the upcoming year. So upcoming year in the sense, in the example that we considered, so the upcoming year will be financial year 24. Financial year 24. Okay, 24. Next, apart from that, implementation of the budget announcements of the current year. So which is the current year? On February 1, 2023. So the current year will be 22, 23. So this will be current year. So for current year, when was budget proposed? Previous year. So in the previous budget, whatever announcements were made, so whether those announcements have been implemented properly or not, a report related to that will be presented in a document called as implementation of the budget announcements of the current year. Okay. So again, about these also we will be discussing in detail later on. And finally, we need to understand that there is an accounting classification as per the article 150 of the Constitution. So here we will not be discussing in detail, so just this information will be sufficient. If at all they ask you, so which article deals with the accounting classification, then it is article 150 of the Constitution. Okay, so that would be sufficient. So in this class we discussed about what is budget, who presents it, to whom, why it is presented, and the important documents which are presented along with the budget. So similarly, in the forthcoming classes we will be discussing about the other important components which are presented along with the budget. For all our further updates, further such updates, subscribe to our channel and hit on the bell icon. Thank you.